Sorry guys, a bit of a mix-up that last one, so I have to do the last two races independently, and sorry about the voice, it's pretty average, been crook for a couple of weeks. Anyhow, we'll get straight back into it. Race 8. There's a bit of pressure here, it looks, with Imperator Augustus. Clear the Beach getting up in distance is obviously going to be right there naturally. It's got a lot of good speed. Then the likes of Metallic Crown, Wild and Famous, even Kanachi coming across from out wide looking for a position. So there does look good pressure. Clear the Beach is a horse I definitely look to find, but interesting to see at 1400. I know it'll be fitter, but was hoping it'd stay at the 12 and it'd be really hard to beat. Imperator Augustus is racing well, does like to lead and bowl along. I think you'll get a bit of pressure here, and that may be difficult, especially late in the day, to hold on. Wild and Famous does look well set up, but now he's got to get to the 14. Wet's not ideal. A rider change is a big query and does look a risk considering the run he had last start and didn't really run through the line. Recalculate comes up from Melbourne, he's going very well, but in average races for mine, thought he's had his chance and really just one bats it a bit. Pelanthronius has also had every chance at both wins back, obviously come back well and does look dangerous here considering it draws ideally and looks to get a good setup with a solid tempo. Level 8 is honest, going well, handles all conditions and has the blinkers on is also interesting. Obviously not much between those two. Metallic Crown was given an average ride last night. I thought it was a bit indecisive. Gets the soft draw, all the fitter for that, and definitely looks value at the $18. And the big value I thought was a horse called Fig Tree. I followed it a bit this preparation. The 4 kilo kid on it last start just got completely lost. A complete forgive. It's had a jump out since. Gone really well with a stablemate Minnesota after the trials the other day at Kembla Grange. I think he's the sleeper of the day at the 50 to 1. $14 a place with Sportsbet looks an exceptional price. And I'll definitely be doing what I can to get some of that. So a tough little race. I definitely have Clear the Beach as the most progressive horse, but think it and Imperator Augustus are well found. I think Wild and Famous is very short at the 460, and I will be making Metallic Crown and Fig Tree good winners. Fig Tree each way, $14 a place, please. And I think it's here, so there's still $11, $12 a place around as well. So looks a race of any real results, not impossible. Clear the Beach could win and win decisively. Probably the only horse I could see winning decisively, but if it is up for grabs, I think Metallic Crown and Fig Tree look the big value. Lucky last, and a 1,000 metre race. Scratchings will be important here because with only the one scratching so far in IM General, that gives Argent Dior a run, but Salerno and Starcross are still without a run. And if Starcross gets a ride, it will change the race betting and race complexion. Down the line again, Ice Bucket, 42 days between runs, suited at this track and distance and can show up. I think $14 is probably a fair enough price. It's about right. Sangiovese for mine has been exceptionally well placed this preparation. It's smart for them to come back to the 1,000, but I just can't see it getting the dream run again. And in this race, even though it does look pretty well placed, I'm just thinking it's well found around the $5-6 mark. I say Rich is honest. Cosmic Cameo needs the run most likely. Pro Consul's an interesting runner for mine. 1,200 first up, back to the 1,000 for the for second up, and did run well first up. So conditions may suit. If it's down the outside, this horse can run into it over 1,000 metres. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see it in the finish at around the 30 to 1 mark. White Acclaim was really well ridden first up, but ran time was dominant. Good. It has obviously come back well. I'm not sure where it gets to from the gate, whether they press or just sitting behind, but it should be in a pretty good striking position and can run well. King Darcy's first up, not really known as a 1,000 metre horse, more a 1,400 one pace type, so I'd be surprised to see it stay so short as it is 550, especially from an inside gate. It looks like it's going to be in an awkward position there. Lion Croissant's led and dictated its last two for good wins at Hawkesbury. Doesn't look like it will get the opportunity to do that here, and does look a decent risk. Minnesota's and the horse that jumped out against Victory in those trials, private trials last week, and ran very well there. It's primed to go off that, even though it's 6 weeks between runs on paper, and can improve sharply for mine. I think $19 is a big price hit. Eminent Duke was just given no hope first up, really not inspired at all by its ride. Inside Gate is against it here and may drift back a bit, but it's a knockout runner around the 20-1 mark. Rosamond's ideally set up, just not sure it's going as well as it can. Argent Dior took racing last prep to get to its best and prefer to watch betting closely. There has been some fairly strong betting moves from that stable over the last week or two, with a few of them landing, so a few signs that stable's waking up a bit and their horses need to be looked at a bit more carefully at the moment. Starcross has trialled okay. Obviously that rail out at Gosford on those trials, when you get hard on the fence, it's very easy to look a bit quicker than you are, but the horse definitely has good ability. It is a strong 1,000-metre horse, and if it sneaks into the field, it can be competitive. For me, Proconsul $31 is over the odds. Wider claim around the $6 mark is probably deserved favourite. I think Minnesota at $19 is exceptionally good price. I missed out on Loverboy Charlie on the run through. It's definitely got a hope in this race, but not really one you want to jump out of your skin to find. Eminent Duke 20-1 may even get better come race time, and I think it's the knockout runner, and if Starcross gets a run, it definitely goes in. But Proconsul $31, happy to take that. $6 wider claim looks fair enough. $19 Minnesota looks the better play for me, along with probably something on Proconsul if you can make ground. Minnesota will be suited if it's on pace and can sit just a bit off them and run on as well. It's the bomb-proof sort of horse at $19, and I will be making Eminent Duke a winner, especially if it gets out past the 25-30-1 mark, which is pretty likely. Did want to have a quick look at the feature race of the day in Doomben while that break was in the races. So very interesting race. It's obviously going to be run on a good track. I think it's a 5 at the moment. Should get to a 4. The weather's been great in southeast Queensland over the last week and a half. Everything kind of points to, in her time here, no surprises there. It's been heavily backed. The 380's long gone. I think it maps pretty well, actually, which is kind of interesting if we bring it up. Once My True Love is very likely to miss a run. There's no All Over Bossa Nova looks like missing a run. So these horses here in 6, 7, 8, Tycoon Tara missed Gunpowder, prompt response to the likely horses to cross along to the fence. Girl Sunday will obviously likely come out as well. I think one or two of these horses is going to want to sit. Nothing really wants to run this race at a strong 1350, which is what gives In Her Time so much control over this field. The horses drawn outside it in Bonnie O'Reilly, Egyptian Symbol, and French Emotion don't want it run at a fast 1350 either. So I can't see any of them pressing. Bonnie O'Reilly might have to make the decision, or do they just take the gamble and try and slot in, and worst comes to worst, they give cover to the stablemate Egyptian Symbol. It's a pretty tough one for Bonnie O'Reilly. I think if she goes forward, she's committing suicide. I think 1350 is too hard for her to do the work, but what's going to give her cover? That's it, unless she finds the back of In Her Time, which is possible if it gets flushed 3 wide, but I'm sure In Her Time will be looking for a position probably outside the leader to control the tempo if possible, which is most likely, I'd say, to be Tycoon Tara, unless Gay Waterhouse comes up with a plan with prompt response to go forward. But it raced so well just off the pace last time, I can't see them really pulling the trigger. I really think that form from Stradbroke is the form for this race. Obviously times and everything say it was. It was a stronger race last time. In Her Time's out here, takes the time to get across. Egyptian Symbol's the one other horse I want to highlight. I did get the wrong horse first time I saw it. as Clearly Innocent's obviously in the race as well. In her Egyptian Symbol's in the middle here. Does get interfered with here and dragged back, so it was in a position where it could probably hold a first half position and ends up getting shuffled out. It's back in our third last, shuffled out of the race. Completely missed the boat. Tries to get to the outside late of Impending to run on. And still not really in clear running here. You can see it sort of running in behind horses. It never really gets a chance to get outside them and extend for mine. And crowded in late there. This is obviously In Her Time, who's sat 3 wide outside a pretty solid tempo. Puts away a couple of really nice horses and races away from them. She's got complete control of this race at this point, but she's just had to do a lot more work than any other horse in the race. She's still relatively strong. And the horse that's had the colt sit and did have mile form on his back runs her down late. The interesting thing about that is that there's not one real horse in this race for mine that has strong mile form and is looking to make, or one horse that's capable of really running In Her Time down. If she puts in a similar performance to what she did last start, you'd have to say that only her third run back in, she's probably got improvement in her. You can see from, like, these are the weight for age ratings, how clear she is on those at the set weights. So she's got a big gap on them ratings wise. She's got a perfect preparation. It really is her race to lose for mine, and I do think that Egyptian Symbol form is the strong form, the In Her Time form. It makes it clear second pick. It's going to need some luck. If it can find its stablemates back, it's probably the Swooper, a similar run to what Impending had in running In Her Time down last start. It's just really hard to find something else that can really hit the line from a backward position. Probably Eckstein's the other one that's a little bit untapped, but there's not too many scary horses there if you're an In Her Time fan for mine, and hopefully pretty close with a few of the connections that she does get a chance. And if you are watching any other outright races tomorrow, have a cheer for my little slow horse, or not slow, little horse having its debut at Tamworth in race 2, I think it is, called Yeezer Man. We got it off Michael Friedman after only had one start, and it's gone up to Cody Morgan, so see how we go tomorrow. Thanks guys, and good luck.